Hey guys, and welcome back. So first of all, thanks so much for all the views on my previous video, the one talking about the Steam Deck. It's the first time I've ever hit 10k views, so thank you so much for that. And I also gained like a good 100 and something subscribers, so thanks. It's been amazing, the feedback and everything. So obviously the Steam Spring Sale started a few days ago, and there's been a bunch of games on sale. There's been a bunch of videos covering games already, but I thought I'd do a quick video going over what I think are the best games to buy for your brand new Steam Deck. So let's get right into this. So before we start, first of all, I'm using Chrome, and I'm using three extensions in particular. There's one called A-Like03's subscription information on Steam. There's Augmented Steam, and there's also SteamDB. So these three extensions really do help make the whole Steam store experience on the desktop much better, and I'll leave links to all of them down below. But let's get right into this. So first of all, obviously the Steam Deck itself, right? If you don't have one already, it's the Steam Deck's first birthday, and so to commemorate the birthday of the Steam Deck, Valve have put it on sale. All three models are now 10% off. So I mentioned in my previous video that I'll link up here that I think the best model to buy is the cheapest base model, and then you can upgrade as you go. But if you do want to buy any of the higher tier models, now would be the best time, because again, it's a flat 10% off all three. So that's entirely up to you. So moving on to games. So before we get started with talking about the Steam sale itself, first I want to bring your attention to a couple of bundles on other websites. So first of all, on Humble Bundle, the Humble Heroines bundle is just incredibly good value. So for about £12.45, which is, I'm assuming, around $13-14, you get access to 8 games, including Ultimate Edition of Control, Hellblade, Syberia, Praey for the God, Sable, Dreamscaper, Call of the Sea, and Batora. £12 for this level of games and this quantity of games is very good indeed. I'd pick this up for Control by itself and Hellblade. All the rest are just extras. So this is great. This is very good indeed. Fanatical also have a bunch of great bundles up right now. So they have their Killer Bundle 25, which is £25 or $25 for 25 separate games. So that's a pound or $1 each. The new March 2023 Platinum Collection is also great, because they have all of Freebird Adventures games, so To the Moon, A Bird Story, and Finding Paradise, as well as Imposter Factory, which is their latest game, and a bunch of others. I mean, just frankly, ignore Galgun, it's not really worth your time. It is what it is. If you do go for 7 games, the games I would recommend personally, Such Art, Imposter Factory, obviously the Freebird Adventure Triple Pack, Game Deck, Atone, Icy Red, and probably Chicken Police. But honestly, they're all pretty good games. They're pretty solid. But the standouts to me are the triple pack of Freebird Adventures games and Imposter Factory. Just those games are just so good, man. Honestly, so good. And they are perfect for the Steam Deck as well. There's also the Batman Arkham Collection, if you want those 3 games for $5.99. And then also, there's one specifically made for the Steam Deck. So this one, the Play on the Go bundle, is full of games that are all Steam Deck verified. There's a good selection of games here. Beholder 2 seems pretty good. Absolute Drift, God Strike, Intravenous seems pretty great. A bunch of others. So this is also a very good pack. Blazing Beaks as well. So yeah, I mean, this is a pretty good pack to pick up if you're interested. On the same page as the Steam Deck, there's a list of the top 100 games played on the Steam Deck itself, and all of these are verified for the Steam Deck. To be frank with you, I wouldn't pay too much attention to the whole verified, playable, unsupported statuses that Valve have with all the games as pertains to the Steam Deck. Quite a few games that are verified that don't play particularly well, and there's also plenty of games that are supposedly unsupported that play absolutely perfectly. So I would just ignore that completely. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using SteamDB's own Spring Sale sort of filter. They have a page where they filter through all of the games on sale, and what you can do is you can filter so that you only show the games that either are at all-time lows, i.e. so this is the cheapest they've ever been, or they match a previous all-time low. So I'll just be going through these and we'll take a look. First up, I'll go through all the games that are at a brand new all-time low. One of those is Ace Attorney. I mean, technically it's not, right? So here, as you can see, the lowest recorded price is $14.99 on Steam itself, and According to Is There Any Deal, which is another site that you can use to compare prices across all the various platforms that offer this game, it's been cheaper via Indie and also the Windows Game Store. So technically, the cheapest it's ever been is £10.72. I'll do all of these in pounds, and then I'll try and show the international equivalents as I go through. So the cheapest this has ever been in pounds is £10.72. It's currently £14.99 on the Steam store itself, which is not great, but there's one interesting thing, right? If you take a look just down below, there's a package that includes this, the Ace Attorney Turnabout collection, which includes both the Ace Attorney Trilogy as well as the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. I believe they are the newest games in the series, and this packages both of them together for £19.99, which means that you're essentially getting both of these for $9.99 each, which means that this is actually the cheapest way to buy both of these games, and it's the cheapest both of them have ever been. And obviously, the Ace Attorney games have been widely praised for years, basically like decades, ever since they came out. They're essentially like visual novels. You essentially play as Phoenix, right? You go about finding clues, taking a look at like certain bits of evidence, and then once you've collated all your evidence, then you go to the courtroom, and then you basically try and poke holes in the testimony of various people. And it's a pretty fun game. It's good fun. It's good fun. Next up is Moonlighter. So I forgot to mention this before, but this right here is the subscription extension I mentioned right at the beginning. So all it does is it tells you what games are on various subscription services, when they left or when they were added, stuff like that. And it's honestly amazing. So Moonlighter is on Game Pass currently. But what I want to show you isn't Moonlighter itself. It's actually this up here, the 11-bit Studio Grand Collection. So this is basically all the games that this studio has ever made. So they made Frostpunk, Children of Morta, Moonlighter, This War of Mine, South of the Circle, all of the Anomaly games, and a bunch more. And this bundle is going for £20.32, which is an incredible 91% off. It's actually like an incredible deal. You're saving a huge amount of money on all of these games, and all of them are very well rated. So all of them are beloved games in their own right. So this is genuinely an incredible deal. So you have like Frostpunk, This War of Mine, Children of Morta, Moonlighter, South of the Circle, as I said before, all the Anomaly games, and so on. Next up is Inscryption. Now Inscryption is an interesting one because, as you can see here, it's not actually at its all-time low, right? The cheapest it's ever been in pounds is £8.30, and it's currently selling for £10.07 on the Steam store directly. That being said, there's another bundle just below it, the Inscryption Beginner's Deck bundle, that bundles Inscryption as well as two other games made by the same developer for actually cheaper than Inscryption by itself, which I think is insane. So you're getting 3 games and you're also saving a good, like, I don't know, 30p, which is a bit insane. So this bundle right here is what I'd recommend. It's pretty great. And if you don't know too much about Inscryption, what I'd say is don't read up too much about it. It's better that you go in blind, and it's like a small sort of indie game. It's like, I guess you could say it's psychological horror. It's a card game, but it's a very, very interesting sort of experiment. It's a very interesting game indeed. Next up are a couple of One Piece games. So One Piece World Seeker, which wasn't particularly well regarded back in the day, but it's very cheap now, and One Piece Odyssey. So let's start with One Piece World Seeker. So this is sort of like an open world One Piece game. One Piece, I'll say this now, the greatest anime series ever made. Come at me, I will fight you, no problem. So yeah, One Piece World Seeker isn't exactly the highest rated game ever. It's sitting at just under 75%. It's not exactly the cheapest it's been ever either. As you can see, the deluxe edition, the historical low is $4.99, and it's currently sitting at $5.99. And it makes sense. It makes sense obviously to buy the deluxe edition because it's the same price as the base game, at least on Steam. That being said, if you do click on the historical low and you follow it through, this is there any deal, right? Which is again a fantastic resource for figuring out if there's actually a better price to be found. For some reason it doesn't actually say here, but if you click on Voidu and you follow it through, it says £6 here, right? If you add to your cart, and there's currently a voucher code, I believe it's March Madness, which takes it down to £4.80, which is actually by far the cheapest it's ever been. And at that price, it's hard to say no. I'm very close to buying it myself. This is something I really want to buy. I really want to buy. So yeah, that's One Piece World Seeker. So now, One Piece Odyssey. Now this is much higher rated. It's much better regarded than World Seeker. So this is the most recent One Piece game, and it is an open world turn-based RPG. This is interesting because it's basically Dragon Quest, but with One Piece characters set in the One Piece world and with a storyline that's written by Oda himself. It's not even that higher rated. It's only a few percentage points higher. But from what I understand, this is a much better game. It's on the easy side apparently, but this is something I really want to pick up as well. Again, so if you take a look at the historical law, this actually isn't a particularly good price. This is £34.99 on Steam directly. Whereas if we go back to Voodoo and we search for One Piece Odyssey, then with the voucher code it takes it down to £27.99, which is by far the cheapest it's ever been. And again, at that price, it's very hard to say no. It's very hard to say no. This is something I'm also very close to buying for myself. Another one, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Now, as you can see, this is actually on a bunch of subscription services already. It's on Game Pass. It's actually on both PC and Xbox Game Pass, and it was previously on EA Play and EA Play Pro. That being said, for the price, I mean, this is insane. It's £3.49, which is the cheapest it's ever been. As I said, it's a brand new all-time historical low, and for a game like this, for such a big budget game, it's basically like Dark Souls, but with a Star Wars skin. So it's Star Wars Dark Souls basically, and it's very highly rated. It seems quite good. I'm not much of a Star Wars fan myself, but for the price, I mean, it's hard to say no. Next up, you have the Ori games. Now, both Ori games, so Ori and the Blind Forest, which is the first game, and Ori and the Will of the Wisps, which is the second game. So both of them are currently on Game Pass. Ori and the Blind Forest has indeed been cheap in the past, so again, it's not exactly the best price it's ever been, but Ori and the Will of the Wisps has hit a brand new all-time low, so this is the cheapest this game has ever been at $4.99. Both of these games are just incredible. They're basically Metroidvanias, similar enough to Hollow Knight, not quite as good, I'd say. I think Hollow Knight is still like cream of the crop. But Ori, the whole like art direction, everything about them, the platforming mechanics are just top notch. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. And next up we have the Persona games. So Personas 3, 4 and 5. As well as 5 Strikers if you really want to play that. But I'd say I'd recommend personally sticking to the mainline games and then also the arena games if you can find them. So I'm a huge fan of the Persona series. I still have my my original copy of Persona 3 Portable on the PSP, and it's so good, man. It's so good. It's a bit of a shame they didn't port across Persona 3 FES as opposed to Portable, but I'm hoping there's a Persona 3 remaster in the works. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. But again, so all 3 Persona games are currently on Game Pass if you have access to that, and there's also bundles with Persona 3 and 4 in particular that shave off the price even further. And actually, I believe the Persona games in particular aren't actually at their all-time lows, but I thought I'd include them anyway just because they're so good, and I think they are something that everybody really should play just to give it a shot, right? And also Persona 4, the arena games are fantastic. If you do want to pick up any of the Persona games, I'd recommend in order Persona 5R, then Persona 4G, and then the Persona 4 arena game, preferably the first one if you can find it, and then Ultimax, and then finally Persona 3P. But that's just me. Okay, now moving across to games that have matched their previous low. So this is not a brand new all-time low, but they've matched their previous lows. Up first is the Valve Complete Pack, and this is just such a stupidly good deal. It's such a steal, honestly. £5.33 for basically every single game that Valve have ever made, and at this price it's really hard to say no. You get access to all the Counter-Strike games, all the Half-Life games, both Left 4 Dead games, both Portal games. Come on, I mean for £5.33, there's no reason not to buy this. I think this actually is something that everybody who has a Steam account should buy. This should be like a required purchase for everybody on Steam. Is that good a deal? So up next is Undertale. Now, unfortunately, Undertale left Game Pass, which is a bit of a shame because I wanted to play it on Game Pass itself. But this is the historical low, so this matches a previous low at £2.09, and there's not much you can say about Undertale that hasn't already been said. It's a very weird game. It's very strange. It harkens back a lot to games like Earthbound and the whole Mother series. They are very similar, very esoteric, very strange. but extremely well regarded and extremely well rated. Really, it's just something you have to play to experience more than anything. To be honest with you, I haven't played it myself, but it's been on my radar for a long time, and I'm looking forward to actually getting a chance to play it now on the Steam Deck. Next up is Vampire Survivors. I think, look, if you're watching this video, just pause it now and just go and buy this game. There's no reason not to. Okay, there's one reason not to. If you have access to Game Pass already and you don't particularly want to double dip and buy it again, then you're fine, sure, go ahead, play it on Game Pass, but there's no reason not to play this game. Vampire Survivors is just incredibly good. The DLC is also on sale, and there's a bundle. Actually, to be honest, the bundle isn't actually the lowest it's ever been, but still, pick up the base game and pick up the bundle, and trust me, you will not regret it for a second. You'll thank me later. And in a very similar vein to Vampire Survivors, you have a couple of other games. Number one is Brotato. Brotato, again, is basically the whole like survivor genre of games which Vampire Survivors created. Brotato is very similar. It's basically a single stick shooter. You maneuver around, you pick up XP, you level up, you upgrade your weapon, you buy new weapons, all of that stuff. I just bought it myself. I've been playing it recently, and it's great. It's not on any subscription service, and it's also the cheapest it's ever been at £3.19. It's just good. It's a really good game. And another game that is sort of in the survivor genre is Soulstone Survivors. So this is another one that basically is following in Vampire Survivors footsteps. Again, it's similar, except this one it's a bit more involved in the sense that there's much more going on screen, and you have like a dash button as well. So it's not purely one stick. That being said, it still seems pretty good. It's very well rated, and it's currently on sale at £7.19 or $7.99, which is the cheapest it's ever been. Cool. Next up is Stacklands. So this is actually a game I literally just bought myself a couple of days ago, and it's so good. It's basically like a card game where you are building a town and you're building like a village, and you're trying to survive. It's a very interesting take on the whole like card game genre, and it's essentially like a city or not city. It's like a village management game, but played with cards. So it's very good. Again, this is the cheapest it's ever been. It's £2.79 or $3.49, and honestly, just buy it. It's great. To be honest with you, it's verified as playing well on the Steam Deck. It's a bit finicky though. It doesn't play the best, and you might have to remap certain controls like I had to, but the game itself is great. Very good indeed. Right, up next is NieR Automata. So NieR Automata is an extremely famous action RPG, right? This unfortunately has also left Xbox Game Pass, and it's not available on any other subscription service either. This is the cheapest it's ever been, £14.99. And this one in particular is interesting because if you take a look on SteamDB, you'll see that the last time it was this cheap was actually this time last year. So it hasn't been on sale for a good long while. So this may actually be your best chance to pick it up at this price. Up next is Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. So this is a game that I've been wanting to play for a good long while. The graphics are beautiful. It goes through the whole story of Dragon Ball Z all over again, and it just looks so good, man. It just looks so good. So this is also fairly highly rated. It's sitting at around 91%. Again, this isn't technically the cheapest it's ever been on Steam itself. However, if you go and check out other websites, then it's actually a pretty good price. So if you go to CD Keys and you search for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, you'll see that it's currently on sale for £9.49, which is by far the cheapest it's ever been. And at that price, it's very hard to say no. Right, so up next is Celeste. Now, Celeste is an interesting one because it actually was given away as a free game on the Epic Game Store a while ago. But other than that, this is actually the cheapest it's ever been. It unfortunately left Game Pass as well. So this right now is probably the cheapest way to buy and play this game. If you don't know too much about Celeste, it's basically this action platformer with very precise control. It's extremely highly regarded. People like love this game. I got this for free on Epic, but I've never tried it out, so I need to. I really do. Okay, up next we have Steins Gate. So Steins Gate is hands down the single greatest time travel story ever written. I will die on this hill. The anime is just incredible, right? Absolutely incredible. And the game, which is basically a visual novel, again, is currently the cheapest it's ever been at £9.59 or $11.99. There's quite a few games in the series. There's Steins Gate, there's Steins Gate Zero, there's a couple of other spin-offs, and man, it's such a great game. And there's also Steins Gate Elite, which is on sale as well, which is basically the original game, but with cutscenes taken from the anime, along with a few other things. We have the Yakuza games. Now look, if you haven't played a Yakuza game, just buy Yakuza 0, play it, and just forget about everything else. Yakuza 0 is such an incredibly good game. It was the first Yakuza game I personally played, and I just fell in love straight away. All of the games in the series are also on Game Pass, so that's another way you can try them out if you want to. But this is $3.99. Again, not quite the cheapest it's ever been, but it's a very good price. And all the others are a fairly similar price. Like a Dragon is the most expensive one by far, but that's also because it's the latest. So pick up Yakuza 0, play through everything, play through the main story, play through the sub stories, just devour that game. Honestly, it's such a treat. It is such a treat. And then play Kiwami, then Kiwami 2, and then you go through the rest of the series with 3, 4, 5, 6, and then Like a Dragon as well. Great games, amazing games. And finally, Dead Cells. So Dead Cells is a action roguelike, extremely famous, extremely well rated. It's been on a bunch of different subscription services, and it still is on Game Pass, so that's another way to try it out. It's currently $10.99, which is not the best price it's ever been. It's actually still fairly expensive, but if you check out other places, you can find it for significantly cheaper. So on Fanatical, Dead Cells is currently £8.79, but if you apply the coupon code SteamDeck5, it takes it down to £8.35, which is not too far off. It's all-time low. It's not too bad. It's not too bad a price. Okay, and that's pretty much it. So one thing I would like to say is, think of yourself like a business, right? Think of yourself as having like a cash flow model. You have a certain amount of money coming in every month, and a certain amount of money going out every month. What's left is your cash flow. So what you don't want to do is spend too much money in one go, and then you're left with almost no money for that particular month or that particular week or whatever, right? You would much rather spread out the costs of things across the year. So where I'm going with this, right, is you only have so much time and so much money. And to be frank with you, the Steam Spring Sale, as good as it is, it's not great. There's plenty of games that are much more expensive than they have been in the past, in previous sales. Overall, frankly, it's a pretty mediocre sale in comparison to other Steam sales. And I guess generally speaking, the summer sale and the winter sale tend to be the two best ones by far. They tend to have the highest quantity of games on sale at the best prices as well. So if you can hold out for 3 months or so for the summer sale, I would highly recommend that you do. Thankfully, all the games I mentioned in this video, they're all, well, most of them, are either at their best prices ever or very close. Don't worry too much about that, but generally speaking, if you can wait out for the summer sale on other games that aren't currently at their all-time low, do that, because you just make your life harder by A, spending too much money, and B, increasing your backlog to the point where it's unmanageable, right? So chill out. Don't buy too many games, buy a few here and there. Try to buy them when they are on their steepest discounts. And yeah, and if you're still around and you want to catch my complete thoughts on the Steam Deck as a platform, what I thought about it, all of that good stuff, click up here, and I'll catch you next time. See ya.